President Donald Trump attempted to strong-arm Canada. He believed he could intimidate a nation of 40 million. He assumed he could treat them the same way he treats a small contractor he refuses to pay. Sources report that during a private meeting, Trump leaned over a heavy wooden table. He stared directly at Canada's Prime Minister, Mark Carney, and called him Governor right to his face. This was not a slip. It was intentional, a calculated, arrogant signal that Trump sees Canada as just America's 51st state. He expected Carney to lose his temper. He hoped for a viral reality TV moment, but Carney did not flinch. He did not shout. He did not fire off a 3 a.m. social media rant. He simply nodded, then returned to Ottawa, quietly pulling a lever Washington overlooked. The impact of that single insult is now rippling across the American Northeast. The effects are unfolding in real time. In the next few minutes, it'll show exactly what shifted. It'll reveal who panicked first and explain how this could affect your wallet, your winter heating bill, and your hometown before the month ends. You're witnessing history change, and an American president realize he just picked a fight he cannot win. Here's what mainstream media isn't telling you about the trade war dominating headlines. Last week, behind closed doors, the U.S. government delivered an ultimatum. They threatened sweeping tariffs, a total economic lockdown. Trump demanded full compliance. He wanted new rules on border security. He insisted on increased defense spending. He demanded trade concessions heavily favoring the U.S. He wanted the rules rewritten in Canada to fit the bill. Trump thought he held all the leverage. He always thinks he does. He assumed Canada would beg for mercy. He assumed they'd cave. But Mark Carney is not a conventional politician. Carney led the Bank of Canada. He ran the Bank of England. He's a financial apex predator, fully aware of how global systems truly function. He knows where the invisible wires lie. He understands the plumbing of the global economy better than almost anyone alive. So when Trump insulted him, Carney didn't rush to a press conference. Within 48 hours, New England felt a ripple. Not physically, not yet, but in the energy markets. Alarms sounded. The Canadian government quietly announced a strategic domestic review of all hydroelectric and natural gas exports. They use careful bureaucratic language, citing domestic energy security and grid strain from upcoming winter storms. The timing, however, was unmistakable, a clear warning to the American economy. Canada provides massive electricity to New York and New England, the raw power that keeps Boston's lights on, Wall Street servers humming, and millions of Americans warm in freezing temperatures. Trump assumed tariffs were the ultimate weapon. He forgot that an American economy cannot run in the dark. Let's examine the evidence, because the numbers tell a story Washington is desperate to hide. First, the transmission lines. A look at the Northeast shows New York and New England are deeply connected to the Canadian grid, fully dependent on it. For decades, these states imported cheap, clean hydropower from Quebec. Water flows through massive dams, spins turbines, and sends electricity south 24/7. In a typical year, Canada serves as the East Coast's failsafe. During freezes in Massachusetts or heat waves in Manhattan, Canadian power prevents systemic collapse. Now, here's Carney's move. They didn't cut the cord that would breach treaties and look like war. Carney's smarter than that. Instead, they strictly enforced existing technical limits, prioritizing Canadian citizens. Grid operators were told, Montreal and Toronto first. You only get what remains. Second, market panic. Immediately after Ottawa announced the review, energy markets reacted. Natural gas futures in the U.S. Northeast spiked. Grid operators, tasked with keeping your lights on, sent urgent alerts. They know even a slight Canadian slowdown endangers the U.S. grid. The U.S. must rely on slow, costly, dirty oil and gas plants. Prices jumped, and you, the consumer, feel it on your bills, a hidden cost directly linked to Trump's hubris. Third, quiet panic in Washington. Cameras caught Trump leaving the Oval Office. A reporter asked about the New England grid. Trump waved it off, called it fake news, and boasted America has the world's greatest energy. Behind the scenes, governors of Massachusetts and New York are frantically calling Carney, not the White House, knowing Trump won't help. They're begging Canada not to throttle supply. This illustrates why Trump is losing control. His strategy relies on overwhelming force on gear, escalate, threaten, create chaos to make the other side surrender. It works only when opponents are weak. He threatened massive tariffs, but Canada's leverage backfired spectacularly. Observe the domino effect. Trump threatens tariffs, companies halt U.S. Midwest investments, supply chains freeze, logistics panic, factories slow. Then Canada signals reduced energy exports. Utility companies warn of massive price spikes. Consumers feel it, the economy shudders. Trump is trapped, back down and appear weak, or push forward and raise living costs for his own voters, risking East Coast blackouts. Taking on a major, integrated trading partner hurts you as much as them. The world is watching. Europe and China see an American president who reacts impulsively, insults allies for TV points, with zero strategy for fallout. Trump demands obedience, but power grids cannot be bullied, winter cannot be sanctioned, supply chains cannot be intimidated. Trump assumed Canada's politeness meant weakness. He didn't realize the power dynamics had shifted. He thought he was playing checkers. Carney plays global chess. Carney operates differently. Trump swings a sledgehammer, breaking things perfect. Carney wields a scalpel, precise and calculated. Globally connected, respected by leaders and markets alike. He converts pressure into leverage. When called governor, he did not tweet or complain. He acted using markets and systems. Carney understands 21st century power, supply chains, critical resources, energy flows. Canada holds what the U.S. needs: soil, gas, uranium, hydroelectricity. By gently adjusting the power grid, Carney sent a silent, deadly message. Canada is sovereign, not your 51st state. Respect us or freeze. It's a masterclass in long-term strategy. Carney builds credibility with global markets, portraying Canada as competent and rational against an erratic neighbor. While Trump isolates, Carney signs trade deals, diversifies Canada's portfolio, proving influence isn't about shutting, it's about holding the keys. What does this mean for you? Even in Ohio, Texas, or Florida, Canada affects your life daily. Grocery bills, gas, lumber, and now the stability of the American power grid. We're watching history in real time. For a century, U.S.-Canada relations were stable, a boring partnership with the world's longest undefended border. Two economies so intertwined, boundaries blurred, that trust is shattered. Trump broke it for a soundbite, showing America has no permanent friends, only targets. The result: dangerous isolation. Rising winter power prices and slow manufacturing are direct consequences of the America First agenda. Carney didn't raise his voice, he raised the cost of ignoring Canada, exposing Trump's ultimate bluff. Trump demanded surrender, the world stepped back, watching him stumble. This is a realignment. The U.S., once indispensable, now unreliable. Carney's Canada emerges as the adult in the room. Where do we go from here? The board is set, pieces moving, and the next moves are critical. Scenario: a quiet retreat. Likely out of public view. Utility companies, tech giants, and governors pressure the White House. Trump folds, exempts Canadian energy and goods, claims a historic win. On paper, Carney wins, power flows, but U.S.-Canada relations remain damaged. Scenario B: escalation. Trump, humiliated, doubles down. Massive border inspections, slow trade to crawl. Carney halts hydro exports, citing emergency. Prices spike, blackouts hit Boston, economic crisis unfolds. Scenario C: unexpected reversal. Courts intervene, strike down Trump's tariffs. Crisis ends, tension remains. Canada pivots rapidly to Europe and Asia, reducing U.S. dependency. Normal leaders escalate. Trump only pushes against a wall that fights back and controls electricity. Old rules are gone. Washington assumed Canada would comply. Carney proved them wrong with math and the off switch. Trump wanted a war of words. Canada brought spreadsheets and the fuse box. Is Carney defending sovereignty or daring Trump to self-destruct? Comment below. Subscribe for updates, real facts, ahead of mainstream headlines. Stay alert. Stay prepared. This story is far from over.